Restaurant Unstoppable. What the most successful restaurateurs know that you don't.
Oh, I love painting this picture. It was literally, we went to Kmart, we brought a picnic table, like a little glass picnic table that you'd put like a bar in your backyard, a used piece of refrigeration that was a pile of shit, an umbrella from Kohl's that I had Abby paint, and then a little menu board from Michael's Home Goods that Abby also painted with our 3 menu items. A chocolate lab that laid out in front of the stand every day, which is my dog, Dolce. She passed away, but I have a new chocolate lab. And it was legit on Ocean Avenue, where it gets busy as could be in the summertime. And you see me and Abby. I'm wearing a bathing suit. She's wearing a bikini. We're blending fruit. I have a chocolate lab laying out front, an umbrella, a crazy pizza guy that we were renting from, Jimmy, which I still love to this very day, old Greek drunk guy that yells at everybody. I have extension cords running up the stairs to our apartment because we lived right in front. We lived above the pizzeria. So I had 2 roommates, extension cords running up the stairs, 10 cases of bananas going down the stairs, a refrigerator in our living room filled with acai. So it was quite the scene. It was
And I think, I encourage people just to start all the time. Just start. Like, you're going to do a lot of things wrong. You're not even going to know what you're doing wrong.
Yeah.
But just start and, figure it out as you go. Don't let anything stop you from starting. It does not take much to start. Work your network. For you guys, that was the guy that was downstairs, right?
Yeah.
And this, your support system's there if you look for it. You know what I'm saying? So get into that and, how you guys even approach this guy and what made him, why did he agree in the first place?
So Jimmy's like my father. He reminds me a lot of my father. Yeah. They little different. He's Greek. My dad's
Jimmy
Italian. Jimmy the Greek. Big handlebar mustache.
Nice.
Got a reputation in town. Let me paint a picture of Jimmy really quick. He has a banner made that's about 10 by 10 on the front of the pizzeria that says voted #1 pizza and breakfast at the Jersey Shore. Nobody ever voted that, ever. So that just paints your picture right there. Yeah. Jimmy the Greek. He come up to my apartment. Abby lived with me for a while, and before we started the acai stand, Jimmy would just stroll up into our apartment and drink all of our booze from the night before when we had parties. We'd lay on the couch drinking booze, and Abby's like, why are you letting this guy do this? I said, you want to know why? I go, because he's not harming me, and I knew there was an opportunity. I always envied the fact of his pizzeria and seeing a line down the road. Long and behold, when we came up with this idea, I treated Jimmy really well. I let him come up to the apartment. We always joked around. We sat there, had a beer with each other. And the way that I approached it with him, because I asked Abby to do it. I said, go to Jimmy. She's like, I'm not doing it, because she was kind of scared of him at the time. I said, I'll do it. So I go, Abby, make me an acai bowl real quick. So she made one upstairs. I went downstairs with the acai bowl, and I handed it to Jimmy. I go, Jimmy, try this. I go, see what you think about this, because I want to sell this in front of your pizza store. With his mustache handlebar, gets the acai, gets it all in his mustache handlebar because he's drunk as shit. And he goes, what is this shit? I go, it's not shit, it's acai. He goes, it's really good. I was like, I know it's good. I go, let me set up a little cart in front. We talked logistics a little bit because obviously there's health codes and, not beating the system, but we had to figure a way that we can sell acai on the side of the road and have a 3-compartment sink and so on and so forth.
When you're that small, you usually get a couple warnings before. And you know what I mean? You can... I don't want to encourage people to break the law, and I'm not saying. Maybe.
But Eric, what you're saying is, I'll cut you off, but I'll cut you off by saying you're absolutely right. Though it's about pushing. I can't do that anymore with how big Playa Bowls is. I cannot do that. But in the beginning, as an entrepreneur,
what do you have to lose? A couple tables in a blender? You have nothing to lose. Just try.
I have a phrase. It's called, and if people have probably heard this before in the entrepreneurial world, ask for forgiveness, not permission.
Yes.
And you do it, and you're right. You'll get a couple gimmies. If you push it too hard, then they start looking at you.
Don't abuse it, but do what you got to do to get started.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I love it, man. So, okay, take us through the first couple of weeks into the first couple of months of what this was like, the lessons you were learning, the things that you learned the hard way that you can prevent my listeners from making those same mistakes.
When we started the cart, we had this, I had this premonition that we were going to have a line down the road right off the bat, and I think as an entrepreneur, if you have an idea, that's what you would hope for. You started a podcast, I'm going to have 1 million listeners, but you gotta work to get there to that point. And I didn't know that in the beginning. Not that I didn't know that. I was very idealistic, going, there's no other acai here. They're gonna, come lining. So, long story short, we started the cart. We had no customers for the first 3 weeks, and I was depressed. I'm sitting on my balcony with a Corona, and I'm like, I had to go around the corner. I cried a couple times. Abby would come around the corner and grab me and be like, wake up. She's like, what are you doing? Yell at me.
Yeah.
And I just realized, for listeners and what to do, what not to do, again, going back to the quote that I had in the beginning, don't give up. Unless you really just are throwing, the towel and saying, I'm done, don't give up. what I did was I sat there, I analyzed, and I made changes, small tweaks to our little cart outside. Just because the cart was put out there and we did it, the first time, which was a lot of work. I had Abby, let me just give you examples. We changed the umbrella color, and I had Abby put different prints on there because I realized that when you go on the beach, it was easier to see that color of the umbrella from the beach, and we put like acai in the front of it. And we put smoothies because at that time nobody knew what acai was.
Yeah.
So I had her put smoothies next to the acai, and now all of a sudden people started going, "Oh, smoothies!
Yeah.
Everybody loves smoothies." Then we introduced the acai to them. I realized also like our blenders. We had 2 employees at the time. Brenna, who's actually here right now, is our first employee. We had no
customers. I met at the door.
Yeah.
Oh,
she's our first employee of all time.
That's so cool.
And like, I was watching customers walk by, and I'm looking at our cart, and I'm going, why are they not looking? So I told my employees, I go, run that blender all day long. I don't care if you put ice and water in there, and just run it. And what I realized as I watched from the balcony down is that when the blender was going, crowds attract crowds. So you see a couple people stop, walk up to the stand. If I had 2 people online for that stand, inevitably 4, 6, 8, it just started lining up. But we needed to start creating that little momentum to get us going. We had a menu board, and I would always switch the menu board to like face different directions so people can actually see it. Small tweaks and modifications. So that would be my biggest advice to your listeners, whether they're in the tech world, whatever. Social media, Instagram, make changes. Don't just stick with what's not working.
Yeah. Show up better every day, just a little bit better than you were yesterday, and it compounds.
Yeah.
That compounding effect, and just like I think that's the big takeaway I'm getting from that, at least, is don't quit. Just keep adapting, keep doing new things.